Hello everybody and welcome to the channel. It's Paulie Esther here, and today the devs gave us the official release date of the Hellraiser chapter. It's going to be next Tuesday, September the 7th. I don't think that date comes as a surprise to many of us. We all suspected that that's when it would be released, but it's nice to hear that information officially from the devs, and it came in the form of this tweet here, which says, "A killer for those who wish to think outside the box. The Hellraiser chapter arrives next week." And we have this little teaser trailer here. So there it is, September 7th. All platforms there. So it's going to be on every platform except mobile, it looks like. And it's going to be just Pinhead as a standalone character. So probably the cost of this chapter is going to be cheaper than what a normal chapter would be that comes with a killer and a corresponding survivor. So this will probably be priced the same as Ghostface and Leatherface, but you know, don't make any assumptions, but you know, that's my guess. I'm ready. I got the box. You can come. I got the box. I'm ready. So let's see here, this Hellraiser Dead-by-Daylight.com. When you click that link, it takes you to the official Dead by Daylight website here, and we have this countdown clock for when the chapter is going to release. So a little more than 4 days from now here. So you could set a reminder. Oh, and then we have this Pinhead reveal trailer. Is this the same thing we just watched? No, this is much longer. The other one was 20 seconds. This is 40 seconds. Let's give this a watch. Such a cool Maury. All right, September the 7th, that's coming out. Interestingly, I've been told that September the 7th is also Doug Bradley's birthday. He's the actor who portrayed Pinhead in the movies. Purely coincidental, but still nice. I'm ready. I got my box. And so also yesterday, Dead by Daylight put out this tweet talking about some changes that are coming with the chapter in this developer update, including some changes to Pinhead the Cenobite compared to how he played in the PTB. So let's go ahead and click this, and we will read this developer update here. Clicking that takes you to the official Dead by Daylight forums. And let's read this here, prepared by Peanuts on September 2nd. Let's see. We're back with another developer update, a series of posts where we go into detail on some upcoming changes to Dead by Daylight. Skill-based matchmaking. I don't think this comes as a surprise to me anyway that this was coming, because we saw the new rank system in the PTB, so I presumed that this was coming out as well. Skill-based matchmaking. For a while now, we've been running tests for the skill-based matchmaking SBMM system, which uses ratings to match you with other players rather than your ranks. Each killer you play has a separate rating, allowing you to play each killer at a level you're comfortable at. The most recent test exceeded our expectations, and we'll be rolling the system out indefinitely with the 5.2.0 update. The most recent skill-based matchmaking test resulted in fairer matches across the board for players of all skill levels, especially low to mid-skilled players. High-skill players would see the most variance in their matches due to the low number of players with high ratings. Hey, it's lonely at the top. Though their matches would still be more consistent compared to rank-based matchmaking. During peak hours, 99% of matches formed were what we consider reasonably balanced, with your odds of escaping or killing a survivor varying within plus or minus 25% of the average. Better yet, 75% of the matches fell within a plus or minus 5% chance. This is a huge step up from rank-based matchmaking, where 99% of matches saw a 45% variation and 75% of matches saw a 25% variation. Interesting. Additionally, while matches were fairer, matchmaking times remained the same. Skill-based matchmaking will allow us to collect more detailed statistics for our design team to work with. For example, seeing how a perk or a power performs among the top 5% of players. This data will allow us to make more meaningful tweaks and balanced decisions in the future. Huh. Well, I know that you can see right here from the forums these back-to-back posts about skill-based matchmaking that this is going to be yet another thing that the community cannot agree on whether it's good or bad for the game. I can only speak from my personal experience. For me, when all these tests were going on, most evenings I was playing with audience members, and I'm, playing with these stream loots cards that throw a lot of obstacles in my way, and my survival rates probably aren't that great, so I probably don't have a very high skill-based matchmaking rating myself. And then I can't speak to the rankings of the people that I'm playing with because, I'm just taking members from the audience. So I don't really have a very good grasp on how skilled they are at the game necessarily. But for me, I found that I will agree that the matchmaking times were the same. And I found that the matches were a little bit softer than what I was used to with ranks. So we'll have to see how it goes when it's rolled out. I'm not really big on, whether I win or lose. I just want to have some fun. So I'm not, trying to be sweaty, survive every time at all costs. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm competitive and I like to win, but it isn't the most important thing to me. I didn't play killer at all during this past test, so I can't speak to that. I did have friends who talk to me that are not killer mains, that they play killer very casually, and they felt like they had a lot of sweaty survivor games that were very difficult than what they were used to playing killer. So I don't know if that experience was typical for everyone who played killer during the test. We'll have to see where it goes, but obviously this is the direction that the devs want to go in, and we'll have to give it a fair chance and see how it turns out. So along with this skill-based matchmaking, they're going to rework ranks entirely. So here we go. Rank changes and rewards. Many of you who watched me play the PTB saw these new rank symbols here and wondered what was up with that. You may be wondering, with skill-based matchmaking enabled full-time, what will happen to ranks? Ranks will become grades and feature all new icons ranking from Ash to Iridescent. You can increase your grade by earning pips just like before, though there's now a limit to how many pips you can lose. On the 13th of each month, grades reset to Ash 4, the lowest grade, and you'll receive up to 250,000 blood points depending on how far you've managed to climb. You'll be rewarded for each roll separately, so playing both sides can reap double the rewards. So when the seasons reset, everybody playing the game is going to be reset to Ash 4, and it'll be up to us to play enough to get to rank 1 Iridescent to get that 250,000 blood point reward. It will also be prorated, so I mean that's my understanding anyway, so I hope that's the case, that based on how close you get to Iridescent rank 1, you'll get a partial blood point reward. So when the season ends each time before it's reset to Ash 4 again, you'll get a blood point reward for how far you got through all these ranks: Ash, Bronze, Silver, Gold, and Iridescent. And you'll get that bonus for both sides of the games, Killer and Survivor, which will encourage you to play more and play both roles if these blood points are important to you. So let's see here. Now we have changes to the Cenobite. We're thrilled to see so much excitement for the Cenobite on the player test build. Yeah, the servers that they had dedicated to play Pinhead was crazy. I would not be surprised to see statistics that this was perhaps one of the more played public test builds, because there were a lot of people playing games when this was on. And we've been watching and reading for feedback very closely. That said, we've made some changes between the PTB and the release. Please note, this is by no means final, and we'll continue to monitor his performance as we do with all killers, and do some fine-tuning once everything has settled. First, we've polished the way chains spawn to make them perform more consistently. We fixed an issue which could cause chains to spawn behind obstacles and corners and immediately break as soon as they would connect. Additionally, if a chain fails to spawn, for example, there's no suitable place for the chain to spawn, the system will now attempt to spawn another chain much sooner. And finally, if a chain is broken by the environment or the Cenobite himself, a new chain will spawn considerably faster than before. These changes will make chains much more effective in tight areas with lots of obstacles. We've also simplified the way the chain hunt works. On the PTB, the number of chains that spawn during the hunt would depend on the number of survivors remaining. Instead, the hunt will now always spawn a cluster of 3 chains, with each chain appearing 3 seconds apart, with an increasing interval between clusters based on the remaining survivors. This will keep the hunt feeling meaningful without getting out of hand as survivors die. And finally, deciding when to solve the lament configuration is something we want to leave up to you, but keeping it forever shouldn't be ideal. In the PTB, the survivor carrying the box would have a chain spawn and attempt to latch onto them every few seconds while they were interacting with something. This would slow your progress down, but could be a worthwhile trade-off for preventing chain hunts entirely. We're changing the lament configuration to only pause the timers of the other survivors, but not the carrier. This means if the person holding the box neglects it for too long, a chain hunt will start for them only. This chain hunt is in addition to the occasional chains that spawn while interacting with something, making it very difficult to ignore. I think that's a good change. We've got a few more changes to get you through, so lightning round. Tweaked gateway placement to be easier on maps with multiple floors. This will prevent cases where you look ever so slightly down and end up accidentally placing your gateway on the floor below. Oh, that's good. Added a brief immunity period to chains after being unhooked, 3 seconds. This will prevent a survivor who was just unhooked from being chained before they can move. Added a maximum control time for gateway of 6 seconds. The Cenobite's power is meant to be fast-paced and used in a chase, not to be placed somewhere and wait. That's interesting. Added a brief cooldown to the solve interaction to prevent spamming, 1 second. Spamming the interaction would give a killer way too many notifications. That's good too, just like I'm solving it, just like I'm solving it, no I'm not, solving it. So yeah, that's a good idea. Increased blood points for the Cenobite scoring event across the board. Blood point earnings were way lower than anticipated in the PTB. And as always, we'll continue to monitor the Cenobite's performance over the next few months to determine if further changes are necessary. Oh, and performance. Before we sign off, we want to take a moment to reassure you that the team is still actively working on various performance issues affecting some platforms. Each bug needs to be investigated and fixed separately, but we're aiming to have fixes for some of the remaining issues over the next few updates. The first of these fixes will appear in 5.2, which will address hitches when using Dead Hard, powering a generator, or healing a survivor. Rest assured that we have not forgotten or moved on. Smooth performance is still a priority for us. Now, I know a lot of people on last-gen consoles in particular, but not necessarily solely on those platforms, having a lot of problems with these exhaustion perks, specifically Dead Hard freezing the game. So I really hope that this addresses that and smooths that out for people who are having that horrible experience with the game freeze on Dead Hard, or using even I think using a killer power is one of the things. So hopefully they're going to get all that smoothed out. I'm very empathetic to people who are suffering with that. I want everybody who's playing the game to have a good experience. So hopefully there's going to be some good changes that come out in 5.2 for that. With that, we've reached the end of the developer update, and we look forward to hearing what you think of these changes. The Dead by Daylight team. If you want to specifically comment on this, you can go to the forums and respond on this post here. So yeah, that's all I have for you today with this developer update. Oh, there is one more thing about this skill-based matchmaking, where I had a comment from one of the devs about how it's going to work. Hang on, let me find that. Okay, it was part of this discussion on the forums where Cactus asked, does skill-based matchmaking only take into account kills and escapes? From the developer update, it seems they are only measuring escapes as a win, Does this mean crouching in the corner all game and getting hatches a win, but doing 5 gens and getting 6 on hooks with super long chases, but you died is a loss? I think if we're going to have skill-based matchmaking, we need to know what a win is. And while they don't want to like completely reveal the formula because they don't want people to figure out how to game it, Peanuts did respond with this reply here. Nope, the first version of skill-based matchmaking only used kills and escapes to calculate your rating, but it did not work out, so it was quickly scrapped. The current system takes a number of different factors into account when deciding when your rating should go up or down, and by extension, how much. Basically, the way it's calculated is complex, and the goal is to have you, quote-unquote, win in about half your matches. So it isn't going to be based just on killing a survivor or the survivor escaping. So there's more to it than that. I would just say, you know, just play how you normally do. Don't overthink it and worry about your skill-based matchmaking. Just go out and have some fun, and let's see how it works out. All right, but that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. As always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Ring that bell like a wraith so you don't miss the next video. Let me know what you think about skill-based matchmaking. I know that this is a hot topic. It's another hot button issue in the community that people cannot agree on. Hopefully, you know, it won't be the sky is falling moment that some people believe, and we'll move forward and all have fun with it together. Keep hope alive, all right? Don't forget to take care of each other in and out of the fog, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
It's a Gen Rush life for us. It's a Gen Rush life for us. Set a hiding, we do gens. Set a randoms, we got friends. It's a Gen Rush life.